Okay, welcome to Late Night Learning. This is the first time I've done this type of video. I have a Mac, and so I'm using my built-in iMovie and webcam. I'm not real familiar with making these videos yet, so we're just going to try it and see how it goes. I just want to make a quick video of how I would study for this class. So I gave you that little guide in your syllabus about using the section as an idea for your studying and for this class, and so I would start there. So first thing, right, gather your supplies. You can see I have my note cards, I have some coloring pencils, I have our textbook, A&P Bio 137. I'm just going to use the 135 book, so you can insert your own textbook here. I have my labeling guide that you are supposed to do for class. I have my learning outcomes for the class. You see that? Yeah, your learning outcomes. Remember I said those are going to be important. And, of course, I have my syllabus that tells me what I'm supposed to do today. So, pen, yeah, a hot cup of hot tea. So, I've got all my supplies, and the first thing I'm going to do is kind of take those learning outcomes. I'm going to kind of read over them, see what I'm supposed to be learning from this chapter, and then I'm going to get the textbook out. So I've got my textbook, and the first thing it says to do is read around the text and look at what all things are in your book that could help you besides just the text words. So if you look at your A&P book here, first page, at the very bottom, it says Learning Outcomes. Some of those match mine, some don't, but it kind of tells you what sections everything is in. Bio 137, yours is similar. Your first page has Learning Outcomes on the first page of the chapter. So you would look at kind of those things. Start flipping through the book. I see some good black words. Those are going to be important. See good tables, tables and diagrams and charts, always good. Other page has this nice big diagram. I think both of your textbooks have this diagram in it about organization. So you might make a note of some of those. Captions under the pictures are always really important. Sometimes they answer questions right off the bat. So I've looked at all of the things. I've kind of looked at the sections. Ooh, man, this end section has lots of pictures and diagrams. That's going to be important. I'm going to have to look at those. Oh, and then I get even farther, and look, I see pages of black words. Lots and lots of black words means very dense text with lots of information on a few pages. So those are going to be important. All right, so I've looked through the chapter. I go back to the beginning, and remember, this is where you're going to actually think about the text and read it, and think about it as you read. I would not take notes at this time. This is just reading. Your text should get several passes. It shouldn't just be the first time that you look at the book. You take all your notes and you close it up, done. Okay? You should be taking more than one look at it. So I would sit down with my labeling guide. I have my labeling guide right here. And I go to the beginning of chapter 1, and I just start reading. And as I see something, I'll make a note. You can write in your labeling guide as you go, or you can do it at the end. You can read it once, a mark, and then go back and write your marks down. I kind of do it as I go, but when you're in a flow of reading, you might want to get to the end of a section or something before you write. So I started writing. I didn't get the whole chapter done, but I started writing, and you can see mine here. I have some stars. I have some, it's really hard to see my own paper when it's in front of my face. You can see some stars, you see some squares, some question marks, and I've got some notes. Now, can you continue through and make more comments that are in that big box? Sure, go right ahead. That's fine. If you need to use several lines, I think I'll post a worksheet that has just blank, where you can make your own lines to divide as much as you want. Remember, my guideline was about 1 per page minimum. I mean, you could have 2 or 3 pages of these depending on how difficult or intense a certain chapter was for you, for what marks you might have made. So I'm going to put all those marks down, and that's going to help me organize the chapter a little bit. If you don't like writing in your book, use Post-it notes, use flags. I don't know if you saw that. My screensaver came on. Use flags, use Post-it notes, whatever works for you if you don't prefer to mark in your book. Photocopy the book and then mark it, whatever works for you, okay? So you've made your labeling guide. You've read through the whole chapter or the whole reading assignment if it was a half a chapter, and you've made your labeling guide, and you've kind of noted in your book where some important things are. You've looked at it one time, you put questions down. Maybe your questions got answered as you read a little further, maybe not. So now that you've written all your labels down, now you're going to take notes. So how would I take notes? Very simply, I would find those learning outcomes and I would pick one. Okay, and I'd probably just go down the list, but I'm going to pick number 3 today, just to start out with 1. And 3 says, define the characteristics of life. So what I did was I got a note card. I like the big ones. Okay, can you see this? And I wrote at the top, learning outcome number 3, define the characteristics of life. And then I went to my chapter and I took notes on that. And for me, I used a mind map. If you've never seen mind mapping, you might want to look online at YouTube. Mind mapping is basically putting things in bubbles and connecting them. I like to use a lot of color. I kind of colored in which ones kind of in an organization that made sense to me. I thought the purple ones were all kind of things that happen inside the body. The blue ones were kind of things that happened to the body, what it did or move, how it moved. And then reproduction was something kind of totally separate for me. So kind of a way to organize it. I did not copy down the definitions straight out of the book. I reworded them. I summarized them a little bit, made them shorter. And then at the bottom corner, you can see I wrote table 1.1, page 5. So I gave myself a reference in case I forgot some of this. I need to look at it again, etc. So I've taken my notes based on the learning outcomes. And I might do a flashcard or a note card or a half a page or a full page or whatever for each one of those learning outcomes. So at the end of my note taking, I've got, say for this chapter, 17 half pages or note cards or whatever of information organized by learning outcome. Makes it into really quick and easy study guides, study tools, so you can take one at a time, look at that outcome, see if you know that material, jot down where you found it at, and go from there for your studying later. Note taking is to help you both organize, learn it, and then be able to study it again when it's time for your test. Okay. And then after I've taken notes, I'm definitely going to keep track of anything I didn't understand so that in class I can ask. And then I might start doing those things kind of at the bottom of that dissection reading sheet where it said other practice. I might go online. Your resources folder on Blackboard sometimes has online quizzes. I'll go do my homework assignment for the week because the weekly homework assignment will match the topic of the week, whatever you're supposed to do in class. It'll kind of be a review. So hopefully you read it, you took notes at home, you did your labeling, you've gone to class and hopefully you understand it even better, you've done lab, and then you do your weekly online assignment, and hopefully it's really coalesced into something you understand and you know for long term after that point. So that's my study hints. That's how I would study for this class, how I would take notes. There's lots of ways to do it. You may choose your own, but it's going to take time. Anatomy can't be learned in an hour or in a couple hours twice a week. You're going to have to put some time in. I usually tell students at least 2 to 3 hours per grade point that you want. So if you want a D, you need to spend, say, 2 or 3 hours. If you want a C, you need to spend 4 to 6, etc., and up the scale. It would not be uncommon for someone who wants an A or a B to spend 8 or 10 hours outside of class time preparing and doing all the homework, the lab work, and preparing for this class. So good luck. Let me know if I can help you any more, and we'll hope this video works. Thanks.